What kind of man makes emperors panic, kings abandon their thrones, and entire nations unite just to stop him? What kind of leader rises from near poverty, to command the most powerful army in Europe, and crown himself emperor? Napoleon Bonaparte was not just feared, he was dreaded. For over a decade, his name alone was enough to shake governments, redraw borders, and decide the fate of millions. But why? Was it his unmatched military genius? His relentless ambition? Or the terrifying speed at which he conquered Europe? Today, we go deeper than ever before, to uncover the real reasons why Napoleon Bonaparte became the most feared man in Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, just after France had taken control of it. He grew up feeling like an outsider. He wasn't fully French. He wasn't wealthy. And among the elite military students he studied with in mainland France, he was often mocked for his accent and background. But this isolation shaped him. Napoleon turned inward, developing an intense focus, discipline, and hunger to prove himself. He studied military history obsessively. Figures like Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar became his inspiration. While others socialized, Napoleon read, calculated, and prepared. By the time the French Revolution erupted in 1789, Napoleon wasn't just another officer. He was a man waiting for opportunity. The French Revolution destroyed the old order. The monarchy collapsed. Nobles fled or were executed. France was surrounded by enemies, Austria, Prussia, Britain, all determined to crush the revolution. The army was in chaos. Experienced commanders were gone. Leadership was weak. But for Napoleon, this chaos was opportunity. At just 24 years old, he made his mark at the siege of Toulon. The British had taken control of the port, crippling France's naval power. Napoleon saw what others didn't. Control the high ground, position artillery correctly, and the British fleet would be forced to withdraw. He was right. The victory was decisive. And suddenly, Europe had a new name to remember. Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1796, Napoleon was given command of the French army of Italy. At the time, it was a weak, poorly supplied force. Hungry. Undisciplined. Demoralized. But Napoleon transformed them. He didn't just give orders, he inspired them. He told them, "Soldiers, you are naked and ill-fed. I will lead you into the most fertile plains in the world." And he delivered. In a series of lightning-fast campaigns, Napoleon defeated larger and better-equipped Austrian forces. How? Speed. He moved faster than anyone expected, striking before enemies could unite. He divided opposing armies and destroyed them one by one. Within a year, he had forced Austria to sue for peace. This campaign shocked Europe. A young general had just defeated one of the continent's most powerful empires. And he made it look easy. Napoleon's fear factor wasn't just about winning, it was how he won. 1. Speed and mobility. His armies marched faster than any before. He reduced baggage, moved light, and struck quickly. 2. Corps system. He reorganized the army into independent units called corps, each capable of fighting alone. This allowed flexibility and rapid concentration of force. 3. Battlefield awareness. Napoleon had an extraordinary ability to read terrain and enemy movement. He could predict decisions before they were made. 4. Decisive engagement. He didn't aim for small victories, he aimed to destroy entire armies. And when he struck hard. The Battle of Austerlitz in 1805 is often called Napoleon's greatest victory. Facing Russia and Austria combined, he appeared outnumbered. But this was part of his plan. He deliberately weakened his right flank, baiting the enemy. They took it. Believing Napoleon was vulnerable, they launched a massive attack. But as they advanced, they left their center exposed. Napoleon seized the moment. He launched a devastating strike through the middle, splitting the Allied army in two. Panic followed. Chaos spread. Thousands were killed or captured. It wasn't just a victory. It was a humiliation for his enemies. From that moment on, Europe didn't just fear Napoleon's army. They feared his mind. After Austerlitz, Napoleon became unstoppable. He crushed Prussia at Jena. Defeated Russia at Friedland. Reshaped Germany. Installed his relatives as rulers across Europe. At his peak, Napoleon controlled France, Italy, Spain, indirectly, parts of Germany, the Netherlands. No European power could stand alone against him. This forced nations to form coalitions, alliances built on one goal. Stop Napoleon. That alone shows how feared he was. Napoleon's army was unlike any before it. The Grande Armée was built on merit, not birth. A common soldier could rise to become a general. This created fierce loyalty. Napoleon also paid attention to logistics. Ensured faster movement. Encouraged initiative among officers. His soldiers believed in him. And more importantly, they were willing to die for him. When this army approached, cities surrendered. Armies retreated. Fear spread faster than the soldiers themselves. Napoleon mastered perception. He controlled newspapers. He spread stories of his victories. He exaggerated his strength. He built an image of invincibility. Even when he was outnumbered, enemies hesitated. Why? Because they believed they were already defeated. This psychological warfare gave Napoleon an invisible advantage, one that often mattered more than numbers. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself emperor. This was more than symbolism. It was a declaration. He was not just defending France. He was building an empire. His ambition had no ceiling. And that made him unpredictable, and dangerous. In 1812, Napoleon made his greatest mistake. He invaded Russia with over 600,000 troops. But Russia didn't fight directly. They retreated, burning crops, destroying supplies. Napoleon advanced deeper. And deeper. Until winter arrived. Temperatures dropped below freezing. Food ran out. Horses died. Soldiers froze. The retreat was catastrophic. Out of 600,000 men, only about 100,000 returned. For the first time, Europe saw Napoleon weakened. In 1815, Napoleon returned for one last attempt at power. But this time, Europe was ready. At Waterloo, British and Prussian forces united. Napoleon fought hard, but the tide had turned. He was defeated. Exiled forever. And just like that, the man who once terrified Europe was gone. Napoleon was feared across Europe because he combined everything that makes a leader dangerous. Genius-level strategy. Relentless ambition. Unmatched speed. And the ability to inspire absolute loyalty. He didn't just fight wars. He redefined them. And for over a decade, he made the impossible look easy. Napoleon fell, but his legend never did. If you enjoyed this deep historical breakdown, subscribe for more powerful stories like this. And tell me in the comments. Was Napoleon a visionary genius? Or a man whose ambition went too far? See you in the next video.